Having my blood work done is probably one of the most powerful things that has changed my life. And if you listen to the #1 health and wellness podcaster, Dr. Andrew Huberman, he always talks about InsideTracker. I've been using InsideTracker consistently for the past few years, and today I'm going to share kind of my experience and my story of what it's like. What is InsideTracker? It's essentially a blood test where they come to your home, or you can go to a lab. They'll draw your blood, a couple vials through your veins, and then they're going to provide you results and data in terms of where you're at, and then they'll give you kind of insights when it comes to diet, food, supplements, whatever it is, and then you can go back and retest to see how that's changed over time. So it's a combination of blood tests, DNA, some age insights, and then a feedback loop in terms of how you can modify your lifestyle.
I've taken 3 blood tests in my life, and 2 of them I've passed out. Did you fish around in your arm, or did you get it first try?
I'm not gonna tell you any answers. Just relax and chill and enjoy the process.
Now, how does the blood test part work? So if you live in a certain state where they don't allow you to go to a specific lab, you have to do it at home. So here in New York, I do have to get the lab test done kind of on site in my home, which can be convenient as well, but there is an extra cost. The biggest thing I would say is make sure you prepare everything beforehand. There have been times where I'm like, I want to get a test next week, and sometimes you need to plan that actually a couple weeks in advance. What are you doing?
Trying to get my veins to pop.
Why?
Because I don't want her fishing around my veins, you know what I mean?
So in New York, I do get the mobile blood draw. You'll schedule a time with a phlebotomist. They will arrive at your home within that kind of time window. They bring everything that they need. You'll find a place to sit. You need kind of a table to lay your arm out, and then they'll be able to do the extraction of your blood. Then they'll take the blood away and make sure that it's processed. If you do go to a lab, so whenever I'm in California visiting family, I'll go to like a Quest Diagnostics or a LabCorp. I can just bring in the order form, and I've noticed recently actually that they automatically have that order already in the system, which is super cool. They'll input all the data that they need, they'll draw your blood, and then you're out of there. I highly recommend you schedule an appointment if you do go to kind of these lab facilities, just because there can be a longer line if you're doing a walk-in. I always make sure I'm fasted. There's kind of like requirements that you want to follow in terms of exercise, water, eating, and all of that. So I try to follow those as much as possible. It's very hard with the exercise one, but these are just things that you need to plan, right? You don't just show up for the blood test. It actually does require you to take some steps, the morning of and the night beforehand. If you do plan to buy InsideTracker, use the link in the discount code down below. It'll save you some money and it'll help support the channel. If you're doing the DNA test, it's just a cheek swab, so you'll get that kit at home and you can do that on your own. You want to make sure you're following the guidelines in terms of eating and having a long enough window before that. You do the cheek swab, you put it in the packaging, and you mail it off at your nearest shipping center. If you have done DNA testing with other brands like 23andMe or Ancestry, you also are able to upload that information, so you could kind of skip that step of doing the test again. Now that you've done the test, when do you get the results? So what I found, it takes a couple of days, maybe a week, to finally get the actual data.
Literally got here and I checked my email and it said, your blood test is ready.
Your inner age is 20.9. You're 2 years younger than you actually are.
Let's go!
What I do like is when I do it at Quest, I have that connected to my Apple Health, and Apple Health automatically notifies me when the Quest data is ready. Sometimes I'll get an email from Quest Diagnostics as well. And then finally, InsideTracker will email me when the data is available too. And one question you might be asking is, can I just go do this at my doctor? Yes, you can. What I do highly recommend is get your annual blood work from your doctor, right? Usually insurance will cover that for you, so please get that done. If anything, if that inspires you to go to your doctor and ask for that, that's good enough. Do it on a yearly basis. InsideTracker provides a lot more layers on top of that.
There's 45 different tests that are gonna happen.
Usually my doctor will only do kind of like complete blood count or just like a subset. For example, I want to get my testosterone tested. It took me a while to push my doctor to finally allow that test, and they only gave me one. So when I wanted to see trends over time, I just ended up going with InsideTracker because of the convenience factor. You spend a little bit more money, way more convenience. Unless you want to fight with your doctor to get the information, you can actually import your doctor's blood test data. So I try to find all the data that I've had from all the doctors I visited, and I make sure to upload it on the InsideTracker website. So I love that I can just send it in there, and then they will manage in terms of creating these trends and charts. So I kind of use InsideTracker as my home base for all of my blood work data. Now that the results have arrived, what do they look like?
Your results are here, Tejas.
This looks scary. I have 3 things not in an optimized zone?
Chill, bro, chill. That guy's freaking out.
What I like about InsideTracker is they give you an optimal range, and then kind of the okay approved doctor range, and then finally the red zone, which is if you're in the red zone with your doctor, they're gonna try to take action and figure out why you're there.
Because your vitamin D is low, consult your doctor about your
Sockeye
results.
salmon. So I need to eat more fish, actually. Okay, we need to start buying sockeye salmon. Navy, pinto beans. I need to buy this and this.
Okay, so cool. I know what I need to do.
So I'm going to share my examples and what the data actually looks like. I'm going to pull up the InsideTracker app. One thing you'll notice here is it does take a little bit to load. That's kind of the downside of the app. It is a bit slow. The website is much faster, and then you can export PDFs if you need. So once I pull up the app, I can kind of see here, I can integrate Apple Health. So it's going to pull my exercise and steps and sleep into the app, which is nice. If you do pay for the extra inner age, you're going to get an inner age score. So it says I'm actually older than my actual age. Not ideal. It's showing that it has synced with my Apple Health, which is great. And then there's like checklists that I can go through. So it's going to give me recommendations on what to do with my life. And if I want to, I can use the InsideTracker app to track that information. For example, getting more aerobic workouts, taking an ALA supplement, choosing fresh over processed meats, and like eating probiotics. So these are kind of the recommendations that I've gotten from InsideTracker based on my blood work and Apple Health fitness data. As you can see, it automatically pulls in my workout, so it's gonna check those boxes off for me. If it needs inputs, I can go ahead and do those. Honestly, I'm very bad at using an app to kind of input things that I've done, so I just never get this done. But if you're someone who's very diligent with that information, this can be very valuable. There's also a notifications tab where it's going to give you updates in terms of pro tips, different things like I need to eat more beans, fiber is really good for you. If you're not an Apple Health person, you can connect your Fitbit, your Oura Ring, or your Garmin as well. Next, let's go to the action plan. So this is all based on my data. It's going to give me action plans in terms of what exactly I can do, like my aerobic workouts. It'll share markers it's going to actually help with. You know, my resting heart rate's a little high, my cholesterol not ideal, and the level of impact that behavior is going to have on my body and my blood work. So example, eat probiotics. It's going to help my LDL cholesterol. Bump up your bean intake, right? More fiber, going to help my cholesterol. The LDL cholesterol needs some fixing, huh? My average sleep duration, it's good, but if I get sunshine in the morning, it could actually help my sleep. And then if you want, like I set mine to cognition because I want to be more productive and be able to do more things, but you can actually go ahead and change your goal. Depending on which goal you pick, they're going to slightly adjust the recommendations for you. Now is the juiciest part, which is my results. Let's go in there, baby. So my inner age, we're working on it. As you can see, it's trending slightly downwards as I'm getting older. So hopefully these two lines will intersect. I get this maybe every once in a while. I don't get it every single test, but it's measuring to see where I'm at, making those changes, whether it's lifestyle, diet, nutrition, or supplements, and then seeing those dials change. There is DNA insights. So this is really interesting to see in terms of, all right, do I have a higher risk for a certain thing based on my DNA? So that's good to know. For example, total cholesterol, I just have a higher risk, so I need to be more mindful and worry about my diet, my nutrition, and my lifestyle behaviors. So let's go. The juicy part, my blood test results. Let's do show history so we can see a graph here. And this is my favorite part. I've done a lot of tests at a variety of doctors, locations. I import all that data in here so I can see these trends. So I have a mix of InsideTracker data and all the other doctor data that I've gotten. The last test I did was on September 14th. As you can see, my white blood cell count is relatively low. This is something I'm trying to work on to kind of make sure my immunity is strong. LDL cholesterol. Usually it's good. Recently it's kind of trending in the wrong direction. I think I just haven't been eating as healthy. So this is kind of a reminder, hey, you know, it used to be good. What's going on? Let's make sure to, you know, increase my fiber, eat whole foods, and just be intelligent about my diet and nutrition. Creatine kinase. This can be elevated if you have worked out a couple days before. I'm not good at taking rest days before this blood test. The liver enzymes is a very similar thing. I don't really look at that in detail yet. Glucose, I know I'm a little bit on the higher end. You know, if you go to the doctor, they're gonna say you're good. 97 is not ideal for glucose, but my doctor will be like, that's fine. They won't say anything. But it's something that if I wanna be an optimal human, I'm gonna focus on trying to bring that closer to like 87 to be in the green zone. I love my glucose. I love sugary foods too much, sugary processed foods. Iron, this is one of the things that actually did change my life. I noticed in my blood work that my iron was a little bit low, so I started taking an iron supplement on a daily basis. And as you can see, it's actually increased. It's maybe a little bit higher than the green zone, but I've continued to stick with it. Total cholesterol, trending in the wrong direction, something I need to be mindful about. It's kind of like, this is an accountability piece now, right? I was in the green zone for so long. Did it matter? Did I need to test all those days? Probably not, but now that I have that information and I can see I'm trending in a vastly different direction, I need to be intentional with my cardiovascular system. So this is organized by kind of the yellow, right? We had the reds, which is these top two, maybe orange, and then the yellow, which I need to kind of like fix to be optimal, and then finally the green. So there's a ton of things that they test. I know ApoB is a big trending thing because of Peter Attia. Luckily, I'm in the green zone. Maybe I'm trending closer to the yellow, knowing my cortisol and stress levels. And one thing to note is that this is a snapshot of this information on that day at that time. So one, I'm very mindful about doing the blood test in the morning. If I'm traveling, like if I'm in California, like I'm gonna be on the New York schedule, but I'm waking up in the morning and doing the tests. So like that's gonna throw the numbers off a little bit. If there's a lot of stressful things going on the night before, my cortisol might be much higher. So just being mindful and knowing what are the surrounding environments from when you did the blood test, because that's going to impact your actual scores, and realizing that this is a snapshot, so just kind of looking at the trends overall, because one might be drastically different, but then the next time you take it, it's normal. So just know that like one test doesn't actually decide kind of your overall score in a way. Yep, as you can see, my immune cells not the most ideal. Ferritin, it's been increasing ever since I started taking iron supplements. Free testosterone, as you can see, pretty trendy, pretty, you know, in the lower green zone area. I'd like it to be a little bit higher. HbA1c. One thing that InsideTracker did add is insulin. I think that's going to be a great marker to actually see a drastic change in terms of trends over a shorter period of time, whereas HbA1c is going to be a much longer period of time. You know, I'm in the okay range, not ideal, so something I can work on. Inflammation tends to go up sometimes when I'm working out a lot or not eating the best. So that's something I try to keep in check. There's my insulin marker, the first one. And what's cool about InsideTracker is they continue to add new things. So being able to get, you know, insulin, ApoB, and whatever else they decide is valuable and necessary. One thing I do take now is magnesium supplements. So that was relatively low, but ever since then, it's been a couple years now, I take magnesium every night before bed, and that's kept me in the green zone. If you want to see like your electrolyte levels, like potassium, magnesium, calcium, sodium, it's really good to see that in here. I'm typically in the green zone. I think I do a good job of getting my water as well as electrolytes. SHBG, you can see it's been relatively, you know, flat, which is good. Testosterone, you can see when I did the testosterone pills experiment, go watch that video where I took testosterone supplements for like 30. I ended up doing it for about 60-ish, maybe 90 days.
Oh, what's your testosterone? Oh! Yeah, it's good. That's about what I'm at.
And that's that massive bump right there. Once I've stopped, it's actually decreased. It's something that I might start doing again just to kind of get elevated testosterone levels again. But it's really cool that I can measure this and do an experiment, see how the data changes, and then stop doing it and see if the data changes again. So that's really valuable. Triglycerides, another thing I've noticed when I do a lot more cardio zone 2 workouts, it tends to decrease. Vitamin B12, this is a big one. When I drink a lot of Celsius consistently, these will skyrocket.
Bro, like, so high.
How often do you drink Celsius?
1 a day.
That's probably why.
Does Celsius have vitamin B12?
A lot, yeah.
So you can tell those are the months where I was just like on a Celsius grind for some reason, and my vitamin B12 just skyrocketed, and now I'm a little bit mindful. I don't want to drink it every day. If I have it every once in a while, it's okay. You know, it's a little cheat, but not something I'm going to have every day. Vitamin D, ever since I started taking daily vitamin D supplements, that's been in the green zone, which is really good.
Oh, I have to begin to take vitamin D.
And I try to stay outside, get sunlight, because it's definitely the best way. Supplements, you know, it's a supplement to my life.
Why did I buy this?
What is it?
D5000? Is that vitamin D?
You don't remember why you bought it?
It was from InsideTracker, right? It was like I was gonna die if I didn't take these.
Is that what you thought?
Yeah.
Cool, and if I want to share this with my doctor, I can share the PDF, I can share all the raw data. And I have data for like the past 5 years. So if I go to vitamin D, it's only showing kind of the past year, but if I go back, we can go back to like 2021, and we were on the lower end, right? Ever since I started taking supplements, it's increased 45, right? We're going up, 45, 60. So it's like this slow trend up as I'm consistently taking my vitamin D supplement. And because I took the DNA test, I know I'm an elevated risk. Now, who should buy InsideTracker? I think out of all of like the fitness trackers, wearables, like you can measure all this data, but getting your blood work done is probably the most important thing because you're actually measuring something on almost like, I would consider a medical level, whereas like wearables are more consumer technologies. So first step, highly recommend get your blood work done at your doctor, get your insurance to cover it. That's step one, get the basics done. If you're someone who wants to save time, you want more data, and you want to understand kind of where your nutrition, your diet, your lifestyle behaviors are impacting, you know, your overall blood work, most of the big parameters, I highly recommend you get InsideTracker. I love it. I've been using it consistently for the past, 3 years now. Use my discount code, links down below. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, @ShervinShares. Since you enjoyed this video, go watch my video where I tested testosterone supplements and I used InsideTracker to measure my blood work and how that experiment changed my life. See you in the next one. Peace.